Greetings, subtle, sensitive, canny, Cancer. My name is Eliane Nicole. I'm your astrologer and tarot card reader. And now I'm going to do the November 2020 forecast for the sign of Cancer. I'm going to start with a tarot layout, and then in the second half of the video, I'm going to talk about some of the planetary transits, broad strokes. If you want to know about more planetary transits, definitely follow me on Instagram at astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole. There I do more daily posts in my stories and weekly posts in my feed about the planetary transits as they're happening. And then, of course, getting your own tailor-made reading is always the best way to work with an astrologer regularly. I recommend it for everybody. But in the meantime, and in between time, you can watch the videos for your sun, moon, and rising here. As we enter the month of November, we see the Four of Pentacles. So it looks like you are possibly investing or saving money, or it can mean that you are being conservative, playing it safe, holding on. And you are covered by the Wheel of Fortune. So this looks like an unexpected twist of events for the better right around the beginning of November. And you are crossed by the Hermit. So it looks like in November, you know, themes of wisdom, maturity, aging could be prominent. It could be that there's an old person in your life who's very prominent, maybe someone that you're working with, or just someone close to you in November. The basis of the situation, the Eight of Wands. So it looks like there's a lot of forward movement and activity in November. This could be in the form of a literal trip or journey, but it could just be more figurative, that you're just very active, very action-oriented, a lot of things on your to-do list, and you're just being very energetic and moving forward. What's leaving is the Five of Cups, something that you were disappointed about. What could come into being, this is the King of Cups reverse. So around mid-month, it looks like a man is out of alignment, either romantically or emotionally or creatively. What will come into being, the Six of Swords, also around mid-month. This looks like a short trip or journey. And for those who aren't taking a literal trip or journey, then this would be, you know, moving away from choppy times, from choppy emotional times to calmer emotional times. Fears or insecurities, the Two of Wands. So this is about a partnership, maybe balancing a partnership with other aspects of your life. Others see you. This is possibly reaching a completion of some kind. This could also be that you're obsessing about something mentally and people close to you know that, or someone close to you sees you doing that. Positive feelings, the Six of Cups reverse. So this has to do with an old friend maybe that you're visiting with, reconnecting with, talking to, spending time with. It could be someone who you miss very much. It could be someone who you were not seeing eye to eye with previously, or it could just be a friend that you're connecting with in the evening time or something like that towards the end of the month. And then you have the moon at the end of the month, which is so funny because there is literally an eclipse on the last day of November, a full moon prenumbral lunar eclipse in Gemini. And for Cancer, This is happening in your 12th house. And so the 12th house is a very deep house in the zodiac. The 12th house is the house of hidden karma. The 12th house often involves things that maybe we've been avoiding dealing with that are coming up to be dealt with. Sometimes it has to do with our blind spot in life. The ancients called the 12th house the house of self-undoing. So yeah, because as we enter the month of November, we are just coming up off of a full moon, blue moon, on Halloween, the last day of October. So as we enter November, November 1st, the moon is actually still in Taurus. It's still the full blue moon. And so that energy of very kind of, rarefied air, we can expect a once in a blue moon kind of thing to happen, particularly because this full blue moon is conjunct Uranus, the planet of surprises and shakeups. And so we are definitely expecting a big October surprise for the collective at the end of the month. And, that could also be very much impacting how November starts out, obviously. So I want to make note of that. And we are also, as November starts, we're in the midst of the Day of the Dead dates, which span from October 30th to November 3rd. And this is the time of the year where the veil is the thinnest between the two worlds. And this is the time where the ancestors come down to commune or, speak with us. And this is the time where many cultures celebrate the ancestors and the dead. In the Western world, there's Halloween, and Mexico, Dia de los Muertos is a very big celebration. And so all of that is happening at the beginning of the month. And, you may have dreams or experiences or things where you feel like ancestors are communicating with you during this time very strongly. So, that's a beautiful thing. Then on November 3rd, Mercury stations direct. And by the way, that blue moon happened for Cancer in the 11th house of friends and business associates. So that's where the surprise may have come for you. November 3rd, Mercury stations direct in Libra. For you, that will be in the house of home. So if there was, an argument going on around your home, this might be the time when things start to get better, or you start to resolve it. The fourth house can also be the mother, real estate, legacy, wealth, land. November 9th, Ceres is moving into Pisces, and for Cancer, that is going to be in your 9th house. So this is going to be a time to nurture your spirituality, your religious self. It could be higher learning as well, your philosophical beliefs. This is a time to nurture that part of yourself that needs that kind of enrichment and fulfillment. And let's see what else. November 10th, Mercury is entering Scorpio. So Mercury is direct. And when it first goes direct, it stations, and so it's still. And that's election day, November 3rd, which I just talked about. Because it's stationing on election day, I expect we probably don't find out who's president that day. I'm expecting we probably don't find out who's president until more around November 20th, when Mercury returns to the degree that it was when it went to retrograde in the first place. But in the meantime and in between time, November 10th, as it goes back into Scorpio from Libra, we're making headway, because it was in Scorpio when it went direct in the first place. So then November 12th, Jupiter. And as Mercury goes back into Scorpio, for you, you might be reviewing communication that came up, the first time it was in Scorpio, this, last month before it went retrograde. So early October, the first 2 weeks of October, whatever was coming up for you then will come up for review now and conversation. You might be correcting things, you might be resolving things. And for you, this is in the 5th house. This is the house of children, and it's also the house of, it can be creative projects, it can be your hobbies, pleasures, joy, sex. Nightlife is sometimes the 5th house. So those are the issues where the communication will clear up once Mercury enters Scorpio. And then November 12th, Jupiter is forming the conjunction with Pluto. The Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, this has been a big aspect that's been happening this year. This will be the 3rd of 3 exact conjunctions of Jupiter and Pluto. Jupiter and Pluto only come together this way in the same sign every 20 years. And I mean, it's more than 20 years, excuse me. I'm mixing up the great conjunction right now. Scratch that. Okay. Jupiter and Pluto hit exact 3 times this year, or twice already this year, and this is going to be the 3rd time. April 4th was the first time. June 30th was the 2nd time. The 3rd time will be November 14th. As we have been tracking throughout the year, this has been associated with or reflecting the rises of the COVID in America, as well as also its opportunities for expansion of power and wealth. Jupiter is expansion, Pluto is power and wealth. Pluto is also death and destruction. Whatever Jupiter is next to, it expands. And so we've been seeing the parallels of that happening. Well, November 14th is the crescendo of whatever that story has been for you in your personal chart. For Cancer, it's been with relationships. It's been the 7th house. The 7th house is the house of marriage. It's also the house of business partnerships. It can be the house of quarrels or lawsuits. So if any of those apply to you, that has been where the Capricorn cluster has been all year 2020, with many lessons for you. And as you know, that house was very stopped up from May through September. And then everything kind of started to go forward. Pallas Athene, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto. So now everything that's been stopped up in that house is slowly but surely moving ahead now. However, this Mars aspect that will be happening November 13th, Mars is squaring that group, and so it's probably going to be the biggest surge, at this time. November 13th, Mars goes direct at 15 degrees Aries. That's in your 10th house of career and attainment. So anything that's been happening for you in that house, it's probably going to feel particularly strong, really come to a strong head on that date around November 13th as Mars stations. So if that's fighting with coworkers, if there's drama in the workplace, this is probably when it's going to be really strong, but it's now going to be on the way to getting better, kind of like it gets worse right before it gets better kind of thing. Also, this can be, for if you've been having delays or postponements or things stopped up with work, that can also be it with this. So again, it's coming to its toughest point, its most heated, kind of fiery, intense point, and then it's slowly but surely moving in the direction of getting better. However, you're still kind of dealing with this scenario through until the beginning of January, when it will completely kind of be transiting past that. So November 14th is the new moon of Scorpio. For Cancer, Scorpio is trine Cancer, so that's a harmonious flow for that new moon. And for Cancer, Scorpio is in the 5th house, so this is a very creative new moon for you. This is the 5th house. Again, it's about children, it's about creative projects, it's about pleasures and joy. And so new moons are, incredibly rich and fertile cosmic soil to plant the seeds of intention that you want to manifest. And at the new moon of Scorpio, You plant seeds about rebirth, about reinventing yourself, about regeneration and transformation. It's also a time where you pay homage to the ancestors and to the dead and the people that you love who've gone to the other side. It's also a time when you set intentions around any mysteries in your life that need to be solved, any research that you need to do, if there's detective work or anything like that, any secrets that you wish to uncover. These are all wonderful things to set intentions for around Scorpio. Also, your sex life, you can set intentions around that. Around Scorpio. Also money. Scorpio is also very much a money sign. So, your goals, things like that. So that new moon is, 9:07 p.m. Pacific time on November 14th. November 20th, Mercury comes out of shadow. So finally, November 20th, that's when I believe we're going to find out who president is. That is finally when we are out of the shadow of the whole Mercury retrograde period. And I think that, communication will be clearing up, arguments will be clearing up, any scheduling mistakes, all of that Mercury retrograde stuff, technological, whatever, that's all going to clear up. For you, again, at the time it comes out of shadow, it will be in Scorpio. So we talked about that. Venus enters Scorpio. So November 21st, November 20th through 21st is a big turning point. That is finally when we are through the worst astrology of 2020. Finally, we've made it through the toughest aspects. And that's not to say that things are completely easy now, because so much has happened and we have a lot of processing to do. We have a lot of healing to do. We have a lot of cleaning up to do. And we are not out of the woods with, everything, the effects of what was going on mid-month yet. But I'm just here to tell you that it's heading in the right direction. Sagittarius season is a breath of fresh air. It offers hope. It offers some optimism. It offers some lightness. So Sagittarius season begins November 21st. Venus also enters Scorpio November 21st. So when Venus enters Scorpio for Cancer, that is going to be in your 5th house of creativity, creative projects. So there will be a big focus there. I think an intense creative focus for you. I think there will also be an intense focus on your children. If you have kids, or on having children, doing what it takes to have the children. If you don't have kids and you're trying, I'm such a cornball, sorry. And the sun entering Sagittarius, like I said, this is a time of optimism. This is going to highlight, for Cancer, I think you will be recommitting to your health and fitness during this time, really paying attention to health. Also, I think you will be recommitting to your daily routine and feeling really good about that. And I think it's also going to be, you are also going to be feeling really good about your service to others, maybe to your community, maybe to the world, but of being of service is going to be really highlighted for Cancer during Sagittarius season as well. And I think that it's going to make you feel, kind of come to a spiritual wholeness, to be in a place of service during that time of the year. And it's just going to be a nice way for you to wrap up 2020. And so that is the, and then finally at the end, the lunar eclipse, which I started with kind of at the beginning, but it's the full moon prenumbral lunar eclipse. And that can bring out the shadow in ourselves or in others. But it's there so that we can look at it, we can have awareness, we can integrate it and sweep it away. Again, for Cancer, that's in the 12th house of hidden karma, a very mysterious house. So I highly recommend that you Cancers call me, email me, text me, schedule your own personal reading with me. I read on Zoom, and it's a really great experience. You get a recording of the reading right after. I love doing it. It's such a great time to get a reading as we embark upon this new and exciting decade of the 20s on a rocket ship to the future. So please, if you like this video, give me a like. If you didn't like it, give me a don't like, but I hope you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please share this video with other Cancers. Please follow me on Instagram at astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole, and please have a wonderful November, Cancer.